So this last year at EBL has been kind of a hard year. It's been kind of hard ever since '08 when the whole economy tanked, but we invested and did a lot of tours. But this past year, you know, if you look at each Zipline tour like a producing oil well or, you know, some kind of a business, some do really well, some don't do so well. And this has been the year of natural disasters. You wouldn't think of a mosquito, ouch, down here in Florida being a natural disaster, but when people hear about Zika virus and they stop coming, that's a natural disaster that affects my business. We're off 40–50%. And that's a hard hit to take as a business. And then with the Europeans and they leaving the Britex, leaving the euro, going back to the pound, it devalued against the dollar, we lost all that overseas tourism dollar. So you had some economy issues worldwide, you had the natural disaster, Florida hurt. Speaking of natural disasters, we lost our entire Yosemite course this past year. We were opening up in April, and things looked great, everything was green, going to get the insurance, got everything activated, ready to go, and then around May 6th, we noticed one of the trees started turning brown. And I thought, oh, no big deal, ponderosa pine trees and stuff, they shed their needles every 3 to 5 years. And everything else was green, just that one tree, really no trigger there. A month later, the entire course was dead because pine beetle moved in, ate up all the cambium, and it took all the nutrients, and every tree in that course is dead now. And it's been 9 months, and we're still fighting with the insurance about getting a payment on our property insurance because we lost the whole course, lost the whole revenue. So out of my 8 courses, I had to sell one a year and a half ago, or the bank was gonna foreclose on my landowner. I just lost 2 now. Well, Yosemite lost to the natural disaster, and I lost half the business in Florida due to the mosquito. And then I lost another course in California, Zip Tahoe, due to the new state regulations. They decided to come in and said, oh, we know what to do. Now we've been operating for 3 years without incident. I have in writing from the state that they don't regulate zipline tours. And just overnight they sent us a letter saying we regulate you, shut down. It was like $50,000 to get reopened again. And with my landlord, I said, well, hey, can you give me an extension on my lease because I was starting to run out? Give me more time for return on investment to gain that money back. They don't want to extend the lease. So we've got Zip Tahoe sits pickled, Zip Yosemite sits there, all dead trees, waiting for the insurance payment. Florida's off 50%. Had to sell Zip Chicago, so I'm down to 4 courses. So that's how quick you go from 8 to 4 in just 1.5 years. But I got some new locations in the works, so don't count us out just yet.
Damn.
Okay, we put some bloopers here together on a back reel. We've also picked up some B-roll off the floor and spliced it together for a little edit. We had some interviews this past year which talk more about the adult learning and family learning models of experience-based learning and how people adapt and learn best for themselves. So I thought it would be important to include those interviews so you can kind of see there's more processing behind what we do than just slapping up cables and zipping. There's also the emotional human component, and how we do what we do is just as important as the selection of safety materials we use for construction.
The guys at the Zip Orlando course today, they were really awesome. They were joking around with us, they were helping us take selfies, they were talking to us, making sure we felt safe and comfortable before we went actually on the zip line, and for each of the tower positions as well.
The guides here at Zip Orlando were very friendly, made you feel really comfortable. They didn't give you a tough time, you know, they joked around with you, but you know, if anyone felt uncomfortable at all, they made you feel very comfortable, helped you out, and you know, told you exactly what to do, gave you very good instructions.
It was a very unique experience, especially because each course was different from the last. It felt like each step was an adventure in itself, from going across the bridge. There was another one where you had to scream as loud as you can through the zip line, so it kind of calms your nerves, helps in that way. And the guides emphasized on the differences between each course, which made it a lot more fun. They joked around here and there, so if you were nervous, which I was in the beginning, I was kind of shaky, it completely went away after that.
So bridging those two sides together the education with proper construction makes for a solid course. So thanks again for tuning in to Zip Away. Here, we hope you enjoy some of these episodes.
She's like, oh, okay, so, we're a bachelorette party, and I'm just wondering, what are you guys doing with it? Because, we need some...
Here I am in Florida, and
Now,
Mike's
mind you,
telling me a story about how a couple ladies on a tour were trying to pick him up for a date.
How bad you want that car? Like, Tony, help. Help.
Help.
Oh, shit. Where you going? Not that one. I'll pass. I'll take my chances elsewhere.
I have to get new shirts that say Zip Gigolo. You got it from Mike. It's the Zip Gigolo.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
It's the Zip and Gigolo.
Now that song's in my head, only it's going to say Zip and Gigolo. Oh my God.
Patch, pecker, pick a powder, pick a pecker. With the pecker patch. With the pecker patch.
Have you ever fixed a woodpecker hole?
I've watched Dave do it. I have not fixed a woodpecker hole.
It's such a great name, Pecker Patch. It really lends your mind to something inappropriate. But the woodpeckers you saw us fill with Mike, and we're going to do it later here with Tony. What happens is, when the woodpecker is tapping at the wood, he's not eating the wood, he's going for the insects that he thinks he can hear, the vibrations inside the pole. So he's pecking the wood away to get to his meal. And when you get so much material loss, it's not so much the pole shearing I'm worried about. When you get a lot of the same plane or sphere of wood missing, you have a compressional force issue. So by patching the hole, that epoxy actually has a flexibility to it, which allows the pole to have give again in the wind, but yet it retains the pole back to 100% strength because it fills the cavity and you get the compressional force back. So you've got to stay on top of those woodpecker repairs at all times.
I like your hair. You got on-camera hair.
He does got some cool hair.
Hey, look at me, Tony. Love the camera. Love the camera. Love the camera.
And then he does this like,
Attaboy. Yeah.
What a lady.
Tony, give us more!
Evelina calls it Prince hair.
Oh, it is.
It's Disney Prince hair.
So as you know, Tony, you're just going to look at
Hey. How you doing? Good. Anybody for dental work? Better floss.
Here at the camera?
I think so. That sounds cool. Nice. Monty's so desperate to grow hair on his head, he'll even try packing material. Nice dance moves, Monty. I sit in here and I feel like I'm Michael Jackson on We Are the World with this microphone. Or I want to cut into some, whoa, magic! What's going on? Hi! Welcome to my private little Idaho.
Watch out for that probe, Brian. Nice.
Fueled the rest of our expansions, which included. Sorry. Please edit that.
Well, we talk about these things being dangerous, and you should always wear a helmet and all that good stuff. But the one I got rid of, that this one's replacing, was my original one I first bought in Idaho, and I did get rolled over by that one. And I was going 1 mile an hour, I couldn't see it, but I was parked and I was on the edge of a road on a mountainside, and we had a pretty good drop off this way, maybe about a 45-degree angle slope, up and down about 10 feet, then it leveled off. And I was gonna do a big U-turn on the road to turn around, and a log was right in the middle, I couldn't see it. So I put it in first gear, cranked it hard left, gave a little bit of gas to start moving, and I high centered the front axle, which then I pivoted and rocked, and then the weight of myself, I went over the edge, went down 10 feet, and I looked up, and all I could see was the Honda plate on the engine coming right at me. And I had my helmet on, full-faced helmet, but then I just was able to get my hands and feet up, and it just kind of compressed me, and I just kind of shoved as it went over me, and it landed in a tree behind me about 10 feet off because the ground kept going down. And I was on some branches, it kind of skewered and shish kebabbed my back, and I had like 15 little puncture wounds all over my back. There's a little bit of antiseptic goo and some Band-Aids, and I was okay. But it was a real scare. So again, sometimes people think, oh, the zipline job's so dangerous. And the reality is it's the gear getting you to the job, or the ancillary items around that you have to really pay attention to that you take for granted that actually where you get hurt. Whoa! See you later!
Have an answer the horn flashing red on that camera.
Yeah. That's right. These zip lines are fun and games, and they are a blast to ride. They get the adrenaline pumping. Rolling down a half-mile cable, up to about 40, 50 miles an hour, tucking your knees for speed. They're a blast. But as builders, it might have taken us weeks or a month to install those cables, those heavy spools, having to think through the elevation, drilling all the holes to put the guy anchors in the post, measuring for proper depth so we meet the engineering code. But when you ride that zip, I'm sure Clayton's remembering little visions as they pop in his mind as he gets the thrill of now experiencing the fruits of his labor. And when all of it comes together, it is so exhilarating as a builder. Perfect. Nice.
Made it.
I love it when it works.
Oh golly.
Now let's share with you some behind the scenes footage of Clayton jumping off the quick jump for the first time and seeing how that experience is gonna work or not. We also have Clayton doing some video testing on the zip line. It seems to keep wanting to bump the camera.
Sorry about that, camera.
We're also behind the scenes, cooking breakfast in the morning, just living on site for a month. Thank goodness I've got a good attitude after telling that story before about losing all my locations. The guy's gonna slit his wrist and commit suicide now. Nope. And then here's some bloopers along the way. Enjoy.
I think looking right in the camera.
Okay.
Jiggle-a-wet.
What the hell is a jiggle-a-wet?
Oftentimes I get asked a lot of more personal or deeper questions about my job. And some of those might be things like, what are some of my most rewarding business choices that I've made? And I think the rewarding part of my job and the choices I've made is to stay young at heart and keep a lot of variety in my business. I'm not the kind of guy who likes to go and punch a clock and work 9 to 5. I need activity and difference and variety. So as you see, I'm in Tennessee, I'm in Florida, I'll be in Bahamas in a couple days, I'll be back to the Midwest at my courses up there, back out to the mountains of Idaho. My choices of flexibility and variety are one of the best things I've ever done.
Upper body, so.
No, Veronica, you're not supposed to try to lick the cameraman.
Do I still enjoy zip lines? I certainly do.
That's it, Anka. You keep your eye on that cameraman. Get him. I can't resist a good story.
It's getting violent and starting to smoke up like you're doing like a drifter. Meanwhile, when she hit me, my Big Mac went flying. I got hamburger patties, lettuce, I got special sauce with seasoning. I'm like, where's my Big Mac?
That's you kind of thing.
Okay.
So just try to look at this one.
Am I married to this mark, or can I move
You
a
can
little
move.
bit?
You can move. That was just for framing. We're gonna take your feet down.
Yeah. Oh, how have I gotten my start in this career? There is no clean way to get started in the zipline industry. But I made a decision early on in college that I wanted to be in recreation, park, and tourism. My alma mater, go Western Illinois University. But you learn it in class, but you don't really have the experience to go out and do it. So internships, working for summer camps are past jobs for me. Fresh out of college, I want to be the ski bum, so I moved to Colorado in a ski resort, and I bumped chairs for a while at the ski resort. And then I got my real rude awakening about low money and no funds. So I bumped chairs, I stocked a beer cooler at the liquor store every Friday and Saturday night, and I sold Stetson hats. All through high school, I worked at a pet store, so I can tell you all about your guppies and your goldfish and your piranhas and your saltwater yellowfin tang fish, if you like. I was even a temporary postal carrier for one summer to help get some money to help pay through college. So between slinging, I also worked in food service, but food service, beer stocker, pet land guy, postal carrier, Stetson hats, ski bum, and now I'm in the zipline world. So that's how I got my start. One of the other nice features of an EBL zipline tour is we don't just slap up cables for the sake of building cables. A lot of times just because you can build it doesn't mean you should build it. But when we put up a tour, again, it's experience-based learning. We want the guests to walk away from the experience, not just with a good ha-ha thrill, I had a fun day, but we want them to learn about themselves. So we'll have like the first zip, kind of slow and short and mellow, orient them, teach them how the gear works, talk about safety equipment, see how the harness sits, the pulley works, and so forth. And then every zip thereafter gets a little bit longer, a little bit higher, a little bit faster. We change the outcome to keep up with the skill building we've now instilled in the guest. Because by the time they get to the fifth zip, they're a different person than when they were on the first zip. They're past all the fear. They're past the nuances of how does the harness fit, or am I going to be able to do it, or am I going to knock knee and chicken out? As long as we take care of the personal, the psychological, and the emotional side with the physical safety, that guest is our way to, if you will, share with them a reflection of themselves. So they learn confidence building, they learn self-esteem, they learn that all their life they say, I can't. But if they just give themselves a chance and think it through and talk them down from flight reflex, they can actually try something and they can achieve they thought they couldn't achieve before. So through the purposeful zips, we skill build with the individual on the confidence, on the safety, on the steering, on how their body position is going to be, and give them a situational awareness that they can't get anywhere else. So they do the first zip, have a great success, and now it's just like sugar and candy. I want more. So we just kind of just gently give them a little bit longer, a little bit more height, a little bit more speed, acclimate them again, skill build them, and then the third zip and the fourth zip. Toward the end, they're doing the half-mile long zips, doing 55 miles an hour, screaming, "Yeehaw, let's do it again." But just 2 hours earlier, that person was deathly afraid for their life. And now they have this great confidence. Well, here we wrap up our first season of Zip Away. We want to thank you for joining us. It's been an interesting past 12 months. We started shooting at Zip Orlando down in Florida, went the full season, and ended up back down in Orlando. Along the way, you got to see us stop and do visits in Tennessee and do a build. Obviously, you've seen us go out to Massachusetts and chronicle that visit. You've seen us up in Idaho. You've seen us in Wisconsin and Illinois, our headquarters area. But we've been out to Arizona, New Mexico, and even a trip to the Bahamas. Can't say much about that right now due to client request. They want to stay anonymous. But with the successes of this year and some resistant issues we have going on in Idaho with the ski resort, next year looks to be pretty eventful. So come on, check us out, see what staff are with me and which staff have packed their bags and moved on. We've also got some new exciting locations coming in that we're actually under videotaping right now for season 2. So come on back next year. Thanks again for joining us, and don't forget to zip away! Woo!